Hello. Hey, we are going to build our first logo inside of Canva. We're going to talk about what Canva is good at in terms of making logos. We'll discuss the difference between a logo type and a logo mark, and we'll start looking at some of the templates inside of Canva. All right, let's jump in. All right, to get started, let's close everything down back to the home screen. We're going to go along the left here to templates, okay, and we're going to go along and search them. Okay, this layout will change, I betcha. Hopefully it's still in the top there, okay, and go to just type in logo. Okay, let's see what templates we got. Okay, and there are lots. Okay, what you'll notice about templates inside of Canva is that a lot of them are word marks or logo types. Essentially what that means is that there's a lot of fonts used. Why? Because they're easily customizable. Okay, something called a logo mark, okay, which we'll discuss the difference in a second, like the Nike swoosh, is harder to do in Canva. It doesn't have a lot of like drawing tools. There's a lot of font altering and simple shapes. Okay, but you can't do a whole lot of like custom drawing things. It's just not very possible in Canva. They will add this feature, I betcha, but at the moment there's no real creation tools. So we're kind of relying on what is a word mark. So what is he talking about? Word marks, logo marks. Let's have a look. So you've got these two types of logos. There are many. But there's kind of like two food groups, right? Logo type versus logo mark. Okay, so forget about that word logo. Just think of type versus mark. That makes it easier. Okay, so type is obviously type and a mark is more like that. So that's the logo type for Nike. Okay, it has the word Nike written in it. And this thing here is the logo mark. The mark, the type. Some people call it, let's have a look, same thing, but they'll say a word mark or a logo mark. And in this case, forget the mark, just think word versus logo. Okay, so it is the exact same thing, just people refer to it differently. There are another 10 kind of versions of this when you break it down to kind of like initials and combinations and badges. But to get started, you need to know the difference between a logo that is basically words and a logo that is like a designed element. Like see this shell logo here? We couldn't do that in Canva. You'd have to go out to something else. I use something called Adobe Illustrator. Okay, but that's okay. We're gonna stick into the word mark / logo type zone. That's what Canva's really good at, especially with the templates here. There's lots to go through. What we can do is we can say logo and then add something to it. Okay, so if we're doing something food related, you might kind of try and get it down to something more food related. The other thing to know about using any of the templates in here is that they'll be tricky to trademark. Trademarking something is quite tricky in general. Okay, so don't worry too much about it. Like, oh, I can't use it because it's untrademarkable. For a lot of small businesses, they don't end up getting a trademark, or they'll find it quite tricky to trademark something that is quite simple logo type. But just know everyone else has access to these logos as well. So you might find somebody copying you. I'm using quotes because we're using a template. But templates are great to get started. Great for clients that just need a professional looking logo. So I'm going to type in camping. Actually, yeah, we don't need to go too far into it. I'm going to see if there is a camping one. Oh, there is. Because what I want to do is I'm going to look at a logo that I think I can customize. Like this one here is going to be tricky because they're using the A out of camp. I want the tent, but I don't want actually the word camp. So it's going to be tricky to put mine into, Fox outdoor, camping and outdoor. Okay, so have a look at both of this one and this one. I should be able to probably not use this one, but be able to use this one. Let's go. Let's open up this one. Okay, let's customize this template. Okay, you'll notice that this is a graphic that's come in. Okay, and here I can change the C. Okay, I can double click it and say, all right, I want this to be Fox. But I can't be Fox because it's got an A in the middle. Okay, so this is a trickier one to start with. So I'm gonna go back here, go back into hopefully logo camping. Let's have a look at this one here. Okay, this one's going to be easier, okay, because I've kind of separated this from this, and this is going to be a font. Ooh. And I'm just going to type Fox in here, and then go through. I'm going to adjust the size wise. And just like all the stuff we've been doing now, it's just a matter of kind of moving it around, jiggling it, okay, and getting it to kind of fit with what you've got. I've got outdoor and camping. Mine doesn't quite fit, so I'm going to hold down my Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC, and just drag the sides so it goes out both sides. Fox needs to come up. So when you do find a logo that you like, be prepared for a lot of kind of like adjustment and moving it around. Okay, one thing you can do is let's duplicate this page and let's go through and have a look at, if you find one that you really like, mine's quite simple in terms of the colors. You might find one that has a lot more color. Let's go to design. Remember, we can go to styles and we know how to use the color palettes. Okay, and go through, it's funny, eh? I don't know, I think it's funny. Just seeing that in a different color, I like it even more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this one here. Let's say we do like this, the client likes it. We're going to get it out of Canva, ready to be used in other, they might be using it in their email or in their documents. So how do we get it out of Canva? What we're going to do is we're going to go to share. I'm going to download. What page? I'll do just page 1 for the moment, okay, because I'm going to show you this option. So we've got PNG is what we want, okay? And one of the things we need is a transparent background. This is one of the limitations for the free account is you can't have transparent backgrounds, okay? Why is that useful? In this case, it could be fine. Let's do both of them and I'll show you the differences, even though you can read transparent background. Let me just show you the two. Okay, so I got Fox Camping Stack. I've called it Stack. I like to have a stacked version of the logo and we'll do a left aligned one as well in a second. But let's just have a look at exporting this for use. Let's go download. We won't turn on transparent background. I just want page 1. Let's download it. So I got 1 and a 2 version. Let's have a look. I've got 2 PNGs. One is see-through, okay, and one has a white background. And that just runs into problems later on when I say, all right, I'm going to create a new document. Your client might be using Canva. You might be using Canva. Okay, I'm just going to create a new design. Let's go to a logo square post. Let's change the background color. Let's make it dark. Actually light, and let's bring in our image. So we're going to upload it, okay, and upload our files. So bring in both of these. You can see the one that I was able to move as a transparent background. I can see the background, and the one that doesn't. Okay, so it's one of the limitations for free. There are ways of finding online websites that kind of can remove the background and stuff. It won't be as good as exporting it like natively with a transparent background. The thing is though, the amount of times you need it to have a transparent background might be small. Okay, especially if you're using it on a lot of documents. Okay, the white version looks really no different than the transparent background on a white background. The other thing to note is that I've exported it back into Canva. Okay, so in this instance, let's say it was going out to like Microsoft PowerPoint or Word or Google Docs or something like this, that would be true. What I can do though, if your client is going to use Canva, I can actually just have this here to be copied and pasted onto this background. Okay, then when they go and change the background color, it updates fine. Okay, because it's the kind of like working version from Canva. It's a little hard to share, to copy and paste, and your client might be like, copying and pasting is tricky. Okay, but it is a way of getting around the transparent background problems. All right, one last thing while we're here is often when I'm doing a logo, I'll have this stacked version, which is really cool, okay? But often you'll need a kind of a long version to go down the bottom of things, okay? So I'll have this, and I'll keep that one there. I'll copy and paste it, and then I'll try and work on another version, okay? That is, might tidy this up here, okay? That's kind of stacked. And then how to get it to stack, you might decide that that's quite right for you. Okay, I'm going to shrink that down, copy and paste it, try another version, and might decide that actually I want that to be there, and I'm going to put a return in there so it's on 2 lines. I'm going to left align it. There's no like right or wrong way of doing it, okay, and you can spend ages trying to work this out. Okay, I'm like, okay, I like it like this. Okay, I'm going to line that up to the top of that, of the fox. You might end up with that being the long version, or maybe it's like this. Okay, maybe though, we don't need this for what we're doing. We've got, this version here, and that could be our long version. What I end up doing is, let's show you some of my logos here. So you just need a few different versions. So you need this one here. Okay, that's my long version. Okay, then I have a stacked version as well. These fit differently on different designs. Sometimes you need the stacked version, sometimes you need this. And on our website here, let me show you. You can see here on my website, we have this other version, which is kind of broken down into even smaller text. This would be called letter type. Okay, we're using letters as the logo. So look, I think I saw one here. There was a good example. So letter mark or letter type, okay? Whether you're using initials to do it, you can see a word mark. They're using letters to define the logo. You can see here, different people will describe it differently. So the big food groups, remember, are logo type versus logo mark, using text to design your logo. And this one here is more like the Nike swoosh, okay? And then the exact same thing, just said differently, is word mark versus logo mark. Words, logos, but for some reason there's not an absolutely official descriptor of all of them. So you might have to figure it out what it is in like your market, okay? And the people around you might be calling it something slightly different, but there you go. That's the difference between logo type and logo mark, and logo type is way easier to make inside of Canva. You can use pre-existing designs that are already in Canva, but we couldn't draw that from scratch. I say that, but you kind of could with all the lines. Oh, it would be tricky. And cutting them inside of here, or could you do it? Depends on how good you are with that line tool. I say it can't be done, and I know you're rushing off to show me how you can build it out of the elements. You can totally do it. Don't let anybody tell you can't, especially Dan. But I guess I wanted to just show you what people use Canva a lot more for, which is logo types or word marks. There you go. That is logo templates inside of Canva.